It's that time of year when commencement ceremonies and graduation parties fill the air with applause, graduation caps, and balloons. And not that anyone asked me to give a commencement speech, but I have a few thoughts to share with this year's crop of graduates, especially as it relates to the important and often difficult choice of where you may continue your academic pursuits. I'm Thom Ruhe, and this is the commencement edition of Top of Mind. This year's graduation season is of particular interest to me as my firstborn child, my son Nico, is moving from high school to college. Now let me start by saying my wife and I have been blessed with three incredibly bright children. All three of them are academically accomplished and have high social IQs. They are also entrepreneurial in their own rights, each having earned money by making and selling a variety of products and services and overall hustling for a buck. Apparently growing up in a house with a crazy dad that can't keep a job, even in companies he helped launch, well, it's rubbed off on them. And one of the fortuitous side effects of my children's upbringing has been the entrepreneurial mindset that they are employing even within their own lives. For example, as we entered the college vetting and selection process, I asked my son, how did he go about selecting the half dozen schools he applied to? And he casually, told me, as if I just asked him where he'd left the Sunday paper, well, I'm not going to graduate because the company I'm going to start will probably require me to go full-time somewhere between my sophomore and junior year. Imagine hearing that as a parent. So he went on to say, I want to go to a school that will have, a good selection of possible co-founders, a school with a culture and the tools to help me launch and grow my company, and an alumni and community network to support my efforts. So now on that last point, the community, maybe I should be flattered to know the kid is listening to his old man and his notions about community as a currency in our economy, a topic we discussed in a previous edition of Top of Mind. Now luckily for him, he has been academically successful and will be graduating fifth in a class of 700, the only blemish being the 1 B he earned in English in the 11th grade. So it was, he has been admitted to the University of Michigan School of Engineering, Case Western Reserve University, a prestigious private school in Cleveland, Ohio, and the University of Akron, a public state school also in Ohio. Like many things in life, however, there are trade-offs to consider. First of all, even though the sticker price for the private school was the highest, with the merit scholarships that were offered, the price tag for 4 years would be approximately $160,000. Wow, I can't even imagine. Surprisingly, the most expensive option on the table was Big Blue, the University of Michigan, weighing in at $52,000 a year, or over $200,000 for the 4 years. Now, to be fair, approximately half of that is due to the surcharge of being out of state, due to the fact that we would be coming to Ann Arbor from the far and distant lands of Cleveland, Ohio, an astounding 3-hour drive. Rounding out the three finalists was the University of Akron, which for the moment is going to be approximately $8,000 per year after all of his applicable merit scholarships. Nico has been a Wolverine and bleeds blue and maize since he was born in a suburb of Detroit. And for viewers who may not be aware, being a Michigan fan while living in Ohio is no easy path to follow. But that notwithstanding, he has persevered and was admitted with the unfortunate geographical reality working against him. So as we grappled with the options before us, we came to certain realizations that align with thoughts commonly shared in commencement speeches. The first truth that we had to acknowledge was that your future is what you make of it. Now, I know that's cliched, and as cliched as it is, it's true. You can go to the best school in the country, however you measure that. But if you don't embrace the opportunities around you, there is no guarantee of success. And of equal relevance, there are people of limited access, education, or advantage that have gone on to accomplish great things. The next thing we had to consider is that college is no longer the sole repository of knowledge. Nico graduates high school having already taken a Stanford course, for example, online through Udacity. And considering other online college offerings and third-party content from, well, the good people at Khan Academy or TED Ed, a motivated student can self-propel their education beyond anything that was available to my generation as we matriculated through the system. The third thing we had to do is take a serious inventory of each school as it related to assets and programs available to encourage and support his entrepreneurial proclivities. This means looking at entrepreneurial activities like competitions, industry partnerships, faculty and alumni access for advice and mentoring. And for that matter, it really means faculty with actual entrepreneurial experience and credentials and not some CV built to ensure a tenured track, void of any real-world experience. A reality, unfortunately, far too common on our college campuses. Once we graded the 3 schools against this rubric, we finally reconciled it against what the cost-benefit trade-off is. And that being done, the final selection was actually quite easy. It's the University of Akron. They'll have the privilege and good fortune to have my son in their incoming 2013 class. Now, some people have shared with me that either of the 2 more expensive options would be better, but I don't buy that. In my work around the world for the Kauffman Foundation, I've come to the conclusion that bright ideas, great opportunities, and hopeful prospects for one's future are not the exclusive entitlements of a privileged few. I understand why higher ed needs to perpetuate that notion, but it is a false one, and I'm confident that academia is going through a transformation not unlike the music or print industry has. For my part, as a concerned parent, and all parents who have children willing to go down that risky entrepreneurial path, I'm convinced that my child graduating, if he does, debt-free, with a good education and entrepreneurial mindset, will serve him far better than graduating with a debt burden that will hamper his earnings for decades to come. All entrepreneurs will have to answer a question like this at one point in their lives. Do I buy into the hype, or do I make the right decision for me? And optimizing what options life presents is precisely what entrepreneurs do, and I'm confident it is exactly what my baby boy will do.